In this video, we are going to talk about Lookism Chapter number 551. In the last chapter we saw, Jinrang had arrived in Cheonliang to fight Seongji Yuk. So we start off this chapter by Jinrang saying that he's here to beat the king of Cheonliang. So Seongji Yuk drops his axe and stands face to face with Jinrang. But suddenly we see a man standing a few feet away from them and he says, "How intriguing." And he's none other than the first generation king, the king of Seoul, White Viper, Jichang Kwak. But then Jichang Kwak recognizes Jinrang and he says, "You have a Busan dialect, a scar under the eye, beard and black suit. You're the rumored guy, that nameless guy going around fighting the kings of different regions." But then Jinrang says, "You're on my list also." And he goes for an attack, but Jichang Kwak blocks it. And then Jichang Kwak says, "That was heavy. His attacks are heavy and quick." That's not what our intel says. I thought he was at Jinrang Go's level. But has he gotten stronger after fighting all those kings? But what is this? There is no killer instinct behind Jinrang's attacks. He says, "I don't feel anything at all." That's why he asks Jinrang, "What are you fighting for?" And Seongji Yuk sitting there saying that, "There he goes. That Seoul guy was talking shit to me too." And then Jinrang explains that he's a dog. He simply follows orders. Then Jichang Kwak says, "You're not honest with yourself. Even dogs have their reasons to fight. A man like you, living like a dog. I want to know the reason." Then Jinrang says, "I have younger brothers." And Seongji Yuk and Jichang Kwak are shocked. Jinrang says, "I fight for them." And after listening to Jinrang, Jichang Kwak gets reminded of his time with his younger brothers Zivyong Kwak and Zihan Kwak, and he understands what it feels like to have the responsibility of your younger brothers on your shoulder. And that's why he objects Jinrang's way of living. He says, "Ridiculous. You're fighting for them as someone's dog. You won't be able to protect them like this. I don't know what kind of life you had, but at this rate, you're going to end up as an abandoned dog." That's the kind of guy Dalyang is. But then Jinrang is angry. He grabs Jichang Kwak's shirt and says, "You don't know shit about me, so stop running your mouth." Then the scene shifts to the junkyard where Jinrang and the company spend their childhood, and we see the ant woman and the fat bodyguard sweating in fear. They have that nervous laughter. They're like and the fat bodyguard is like The ant woman is saying, "It's an honor that you visit us. But what are the Busan gang members doing here in such a low class place?" Then Sangbek says, "Stop acting, ant woman. There is no way that you don't know us. Gather the kids." And the ant woman is like, "Okay." She gives the orders to the kids to gather around. And the ant woman in fear says, "I don't know what is this all about, but please let us go. After all, we go all the way back." And then Sangbek asks, "How much?" "I will buy all of them." And the ant woman and the fat bodyguards are happy. They are like, "All of them?" And Sangbek says, "Yeah, just count your money." And he tells all the kids in the junkyard that from today they are free. You can do whatever you want. And Junsok Wang says to the fat bodyguard that, "Hey you idiot, whenever you are out of choco pie, come to me. I will buy more for you." And the fat bodyguard is happy. But then suddenly Dalyang arrives in the junkyard. He says, "Is that the place where you grew up? What are you doing here?" And the fat bodyguard steps in the middle. He says, "I have never seen you here before. If I haven't seen you, you can't go inside." And Dalyang says, "Who is this bastard? Get him out of here." And Junsok Wang simply follows the orders. He slams the fat bodyguard on the ground. And Sangbek is shocked. And Junsok Wang says, "The big brother told us to follow boss's orders. That's what I'm doing." And the ant woman simply falls down on her knees, begging for mercy. And Dalyang wants to know that, "Are you the in charge here? What kind of business do you do here? Why are so many kids around here?" Then the ant woman explains that we raise these kids to make money from them. And Dalyang says, "Oh really? Tell me how." And then the ant woman goes on to explain their whatever little they have, their ridiculous, manipulative and exploitative business tactics. And Dalyang is quite intrigued to hear it. He grabs a kid, throws it on Sangbek and says, "Sangbek, put makeup on him and bring him to me." And suddenly Sangbek gets a flashback of his past, of how ant woman used to do his makeup every day. And he's like, "Makeup?" He looks at the innocent child's face. But then suddenly Junsok Wang steps in the middle and says, "Stay in your lane." Sangbek is shocked. Ant woman is shocked. Dalyang is also shocked. And as usual, Sangbek is trying to calm down Junsok Wang, and Dalyang doesn't like it. He takes his stance. He says, "Are you sure you want to do this? Can you handle the consequences? I'm really high on energy today." And then Junsok Wang tears his t-shirt off his body and says, "Dalyang, oh, you can do whatever the hell you want. I am not scared." But then suddenly Dalyang goes for a punch, and we see drops of blood flying in the air. But Junsok Wang is not hurt. Sangbek sacrificed himself to protect Junsok Wang, and and we see a sad panel of Sangbek's teeth and blood dropping on the ground, and Junsok Wang is like, why? And Sangbek is like, you were following Jinrang's orders, so why this is now? And even in this messed up condition, he says, I'm fine, thanks. And he tells Junsok Wang to hurry up and run, and we see Daliang standing there with evil intentions in his mind. He thinks this is fun. Then we see Junsok Wang covers Sangbek's body to protect him, and Daliang is like, oh, so you will die in his place, huh? Then the scene shifts to the Jinrang and Jichang Kwak dialogue. Jinrang says, I have lived my entire life as a dog. If you think you are so great, then tell me what should I do? How can I protect them? Jinrang's frustration is just on the boiling point right now. Then Jichang Kwak also screams. He says, break the goddamn leash. Find your freedom for your brothers. You should know the answer for what should you do for your brothers. Protect them with your own power. Busan boy, you have to make the choice. Either to live as a dog with a leash around your neck or become a wolf who protects his pack. Jichang Kwak right now giving a great motivational speech to Jinrang. And after that scene, Jinrang arrives into the junkyard, and what he sees in front of him has him shocked. He drops his bag and he cannot believe it. Daliang is stomping his feet on the back of the Junsok Wang's head, with Sangbek laying unconscious on the ground and Junsok Wang trying to cover him. And Daliang says, hey bodyguard, did you kill the kings of all the other regions? But Jinrang goes for an elbow on Daliang's face, and Daliang goes flying backwards, and Daliang is like, first those two and now this guy. As expected, dogs need a beat down. So again he takes Gapryong Kim's fighting stance. Then the scene shifts to the time where Jinrang met Gapryong Kim, and Gapryong Kim says, your fists are hollow, they are empty, but I can see potential in them. Fill them with a will to protect. If you can fill your fist with conviction, you will be able to have the same power as me. And Daliang is shocked. He's like, how are you using Gapryong Kim's fighting technique? And Jinrang takes Gapryong Kim's fighting stance and he says, I am not a dog anymore. I will find my freedom. I will protect my pack. I will become a wolf. And we see a cold panel of Jinrang tearing blood from his eyes. It looks like the end of Daliang is near. So that's it from this chapter. Make sure to like, subscribe and hit the bell icon. I will see you in the next chapter. Thank you.